research that comes out of America's leading research universities. But that federal funding, as you well know, since January of last year, Michigan State alone, we've lost upwards of $85 million in research funding from NSF to NIH to USAID funding. But we've got to continue to tell our story, and some of those dollars are beginning to come back. You've seen the courts have been ruling as recently as 3 days ago to restore some of that funding for the National Endowment for the Humanities and to help the humanities and social sciences. So it's about telling our story, making a strong case for higher ed, but the landscape has become more and more challenging, not just in the last 16 months with the new administration in D.C. It's become more difficult since then, but this has been about a 10-year decline in the Gallup poll surveys around confidence that Americans, generally speaking, are losing in higher ed. We are lucky to have things in place and continuing to keep the momentum to keep that target off of our back at Michigan State, and we're going to continue to do that.
Well done. If you keep your head down doing the work,
that's right.
That's what pays off. Jay, let's talk a little bit about that. You stepped in a year ago today, right? A year ago today, you got a call from some guy named Guskiewicz.
Maybe.
Who said, hey, I got an idea. And here you are. Great.
I think that's a hard thing to say, but the reality is we're in a period of constant change. You know, college athletics has changed more fundamentally in the last 5 years than it's changed in the last 50. And that runs the gamut, right? From the advent of kind of unlimited transfers and the proliferation of the transfer portal usage to the advent of NIL. We've now seen the House settlement, about a year ago take effect. I think the hope was that the advent of the College Sports Commission, some of the regulation around that would create really a sustainable go forward, and the reality is that's not happened. I think we've seen that the continued escalation of dollars and cents around student athletes has continued to grow, which again, student athletes receiving some form of compensation is a good thing. We needed to have evolved a long time ago. But the way in which that's happened has created a tremendous amount of pressure on the model. And the model of college athletics, it's never been more stressed. And so it's creating an enormous amount of pressure to drive revenue, to find new and different streams of revenue, to be creative with structures and other things, to be able to keep that model in place. And ultimately, that model has one outcome, and one outcome that matters. And the one that matters is that we're providing opportunities for young people. And so part of the reason that the model is so stressed is that all of those changes have created that pressure that makes it harder and harder to continue to drive life-changing outcomes for student athletes across all of our sports. And ultimately, that's our job in college athletics.
Gotcha. And let's go back and sort of go up one more level.
Okay.
Too. We're spending a lot of time talking about innovation in athletics, but Kevin, tell us how important athletics are to the overall mission of the university. What's the why here?
Yeah, no, great question. And I always look around to see who the audience is, because a lot of people will say that that athletics, college athletics, that's the front porch to the university. And I like to say that it's one of several avenues into the university. It's a very important one. It's one of the ways in which many of our alumni and those that we're trying to recruit into a capital campaign, that they have access to the campus. So one of the things we're trying to do is, get them to campus, not just for a hockey game, a basketball game, a football game, but also to get them to the Wharton Center, get them into the, to sit on an advisory board for the Broad College. As I look out and see our dean, David Souter, there. I'm recruiting for you today too, Dave. Or to sit, go back and visit some of the faculty in the English department that helped you become a better, well-rounded Spartan graduate. Because that's how we'll be more successful if we draw more folks in. But athletics it's critically important. It gives us national exposure that is critically important right now as you think about the renegotiation just in a few years of our TV deal with the Big Ten and all the networks, and that national exposure means a lot. And so bringing alumni back from, we have 500, as of last weekend, I was saying forever, I say we have 555,000 living alums. Well, we now have 570,000 living alums almost after last weekend. But they're all over the globe, and athletics is one way to bring them back to campus.
Yeah, Jay, tell us a little bit about, from your perspective, you've been at a couple of spots, as Sandy alluded to. You've been at a few places. But two questions. One, from your perspective, why, you've made a career out of athletics, so why has that driven it for you? And then also, and I'll ask you the opposite of this question, Kevin, what was attractive about Michigan State when you got that call? Because you were well-placed, did a great job, but yet here you are.
Yeah, so I'll break that apart. So, I think the role of college athletics in the higher education ecosystem, the real work on our campus is done in classrooms and labs and, with Dean Souter and his professors and all the students that we have. That's the real work. Part of what athletics does is it shines a bright light on that and creates a lot of emotional connection to our campus. People say that relationships are based on shared experiences. And those shared experiences, at the end of the day, a lot of that centers around athletics. And so for us, the ability to create positive experiences for our alums, for our students while they're there, that really matters. And so shining that light, whether it's for a fundraising outcome or simply to have people come back and be involved, that matters, and it's part of what's driven me to be in college athletics. Why Michigan State? So two things that come to mind for me. One would be opportunity, and two would be alignment. And so, I think it's not that long ago that Michigan State was a top 10 athletic department. And I've said that time and time again. We can be and will be back to that place. That is our rightful spot in the broader college athletics landscape. And so that opportunity is ripe for the taking, and we've seen progress against that already this year. And so when I looked at the opportunity, said, whether it was Coach D'Antonio going to Rose Bowls or Coach Izzo going to Final Fours, hockey national championships, it's there for the taking, and said that felt like that opportunity was something I couldn't pass up. And then the second is alignment. In today's college athletics environment, you cannot go it alone. It has to be aligned. And so whether it's, someone you might have known or come across previously in your career, I had a lot of trust in President Guskiewicz. When he called on the other end of the phone, there was a lot to that. And so as we take on the unique challenges of college athletics today, being fully aligned with him, being fully aligned with this campus and what we're all trying to do, ultimately that will be the key for us, is everybody pulling in the same direction to reach back to that place of a top 10 athletic department.
That's awesome. And Kevin, he was one of your first calls, if not the first call. Tell us why.
Well, he's an innovator, and that's what great universities need today. We've got to innovate in everything that we do, and I knew that he had a reputation of being an innovator in college athletics, and I went out and told the search firm it was just about this time. It might have been, I think, Sandy, down to the day, around May 8th, May 9th, and I said, give me the top 5 people in the country, and they said, do you want the top 5 that are movable, or do you want the top 5 in the country? I said, Michigan State deserves the best. I want to get the top 5 in the country on the phone with us, and he was the first one on the call, and here we are today.
As a guy who's dialed for a lot of dollars in my career, it's pretty rare you get the first guy. That's really good.
Yeah, and it was done pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I can say from doing a lot of work with the university over the last 2 years, the leaders that you've assembled and some of the leaders that you've empowered who were there before is fantastic. So thank you for your leadership. Now let's talk about how that starts to manifest itself in terms of innovation, Jay. One of the things one of our responses as a university to the shifting landscape has been to create some new vehicles and structures to help identify and raise the money that we need to be competitive. Talk to us a little bit about the framework and the why behind Spartan Ventures,
Sure.
And then a little bit about what's that about.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be, as we looked at Spartan Ventures, there were a couple of objectives there. As you identified change and ongoing change, you really had to hone in on what were the knowns and what were the unknowns and what period of time in which those unknowns would continue to develop. And so as we looked at Spartan Ventures, we said the things that's not going to change is that opportunities for all of our student athletes, all of them, is vital to what we do, right? And so then you level up to say, what do you need to do to allow us to do that? And so we looked at kind of I mentioned earlier, all that pressure around revenue generation. And so as we looked at Spartan Ventures, we said, hey, how can we evolve the tactics we've always gone after around revenue generation to create a optimized revenue stream environment for those? And so Spartan Ventures for us was a framework where we're able to spin out, and we're in the process of doing that. Actually, our Spartan Ventures CEO, John Palumbo, is here. John, thank you for being here. Yep, you can wave. It's good. You could stand up if you wanted. John's here. But what we've done is we've gone ahead and spun out several areas of our athletic department to optimize revenue generation. That's around a lot of the traditional revenue streams that we do well in college athletics, but also those that, frankly, maybe pro sports does better, right? That we can look at ways in which we can grow those revenue streams. The second part of that is we've got to create new revenue streams. And so what Spartan Ventures does is create a nimble organization that, as we know, as change continues to develop over 3, 5, 7, 10 years, whatever that horizon might be, we're going to need to be nimble. We're going to be able to react quickly to opportunities they developed. An example for that would be, we've launched our For Sparta campaign. It's our fundraising campaign, part of the overall university campaign. It's $1 billion to set Michigan State athletics onto the right path over the next 10 years. In order to do that, we've got to ramp up staffing around our Spartan Fund, right? So we've created the Spartan Athletic Foundation inside of Spartan Ventures. We'll be able to add a tremendous amount of fundraisers to that team, build the best team quickly. And that's part of that, right? You've got to be able to be nimble, react to needs. That revenue pressure has created a structure in which we're able to do that.
That's fantastic. Kevin, one of the things that you have to do is balance lots of priorities. You have to, find the and, if you will, between athletics and academics and. Walk us through a little bit about how you've been able to structure that from a governance perspective so that, that Spartan Ventures, for example, runs cleanly, just like, say, the MSU Research Foundation has run cleanly for 50 years.
Yeah, so again, I'm a big believer in benchmarking. We've got to learn from how other places are trying to innovate, and so we took some time to do that. But yet at the end of the day, we've got to do it, I like to say, what is sort of uniquely MSU? We've got to find a way that whatever direction we go to innovate is going to work for us at MSU. We can leverage our unique strengths. A lot of places that are trying to find the answer to this, they don't have 570,000 living alums across the globe that care deeply about the place and about MSU. And so it's about getting alignment, as Jay mentioned earlier. It's about getting the board, board of trustees. I want to thank them for agreeing to allow us to move forward, to try something bold, to take a little risk. If you're going to innovate, if you ask any entrepreneur, any innovator, they're going to talk about you got to be willing to take some risk. The best entrepreneurs, innovators are those that will take risk, calculated risk. Our board agreed to work with us on a affiliated agreement to allow us to spin out a 501c3 with Spartan Ventures, and then ultimately with Spartan Media Ventures. That's going to, again, unlock a lot of potential to be able to generate new revenue, not through a private equity route, which 4 or 5, 6 other universities are trying to do, but through a unique option that a lot of other places are coming. I don't know how many. His phone's ringing, John's phone's ringing about every other day. Universities that you might think have figured this out are trying to come and learn from us how to do it. I've told them, I said, we'll share some of it. We're not going to show the whole playbook. But just as Coach Izzo or Coach Fitzgerald wouldn't open up their playbook, the day or two before a game. But I think you'll see, as you just heard Jay talk about this, it's whenever that search firm said, well, he's not movable, I said, he's movable, get him on the phone. and he was movable, and he was, with pretty much 10 days, it was a done deal. This is what we needed, but the governance part is important with this, and I'm just glad that we're where we are today, and again, we're going to move forward and be bold, and again, continue to take some risk.
Yeah, I want to add on to that a little bit. One of the things I think that is really important, and Kevin has allowed us to do this, is that, if you take the label of college athletics off, we're in a room of business leaders, any sort of regulatory change creates opportunity. And this is our opportunity to accelerate through that change and take ground, right? If we were at a place where we were just trying to hold steady, et cetera, you wouldn't want to step on that gas and change that paradigm. But that's where we are. We are shifting a paradigm through innovation to take ground through change. And I think it's really important, and we're really fortunate to be at a place that allows us to do that.
Well, it's also great to be able to work for a leader who gives you the air cover to do that.
Absolutely.
And frankly, more than just the air cover, the command to go do that. So Kevin, when at your investiture, you announced 17 signature initiatives, which are basically accelerants to the strategic plan, right? One of them was this thing called the Green and White Council, which I'm grateful enough to be a part of. And that's what we're trying to do there, is better connect the business community or the private sector and the university. So walk us through a little bit about the intention behind that, what your thought process was, and then also what you're trying to accomplish, or what we're trying to accomplish.
No, thanks. Well, first of all, thank you for saying yes. You were the first person I called when I said, Matt, I got an idea.
I didn't think no was an option.
You're making
It wasn't.
You had decided to make a career pivot change, and I said, I got something exciting for you. And again, I think this is where we're innovating. This is where I've got a lot of people calling me saying, tell me about that. I've heard about this Green and White Council. And I said, well, our colors are green and white. And, but it's about bringing together 18 business leaders. Some of you are here today, and thank you for those of you that are here that have been with us on this journey since April 21st last year. I remember the date when we launched it at Cole's house. And bringing together 18 leaders, Matt leading this alongside former business school dean Sanjay Gupta, and helping us to better understand what the workforce needs, the workforce demands of today and tomorrow are, so that we can think about innovating in that way, think about how to be sure that we are graduating the very best. We're proud, and one of the things I didn't say at the front end of this, at the first question, but we're, again, 2 years in a row among the top 10 public schools in the country for employability as in the Times Higher Ed ranking. That is a great ranking. Like, if you want to put your finger on something as a parent, where you're deciding where to send your student to school, top 10 in employability 2 years in a row of all, you know how many public schools there are across this country? A lot. We're top 10. So this is going to be a game changer for us. It's going to be a game changer for the state of Michigan. As more and more, I think businesses, companies are going to want to hire our graduates because our curriculum is going to change. The work-based learning is going to change. You know these initiatives better than I do. You help create them, but the networking opportunities through the Spartan connector and so just so many opportunities. We're going to get AI readiness as one of those initiatives where we're working with faculty now to bring the types of AI, machine learning into the curriculum that we're hearing industry leaders are saying, please. We're graduating, higher ed's graduating students that don't have that skill set. We need it. So, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity. What we're going to do is better prepare students for the jobs of the future, starting with technology and helping them be digitally proficient, if you will. AI is the #1 job, and faculty are doing a wonderful job helping us build that out. The second is to better connect students and employers, and start really the career journey as a student at orientation, not your senior year. My son needs to get that call. And then lastly, better connect all the great thinking and research that we do at the university and bring that to bear on innovation and opportunity here amongst the state's both largest companies and newest startups. And that's been a lot of fun so far. So Jay, you know what else is fun?
Yes.
Going to a game at MSU.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about the game day experience. I mean, you're spending a lot of time on making sure that when we gather as alumni friends of the university, we have a great time. So give us a sort of a sneak peek as to some of the things you're working on.
Yeah, and I think I'll just say it's an ongoing process, but one of the most important, because if we're going to pull people back together, we like to think that game day experience of driveway to driveway, right? So when you leave to come to campus to when you get home, every bit of that matters. And so I can tell you that pretty quickly out of the gate last summer, we spent some time finding opportunities in the in-game experience, whether it's little things like fireworks or drone shows to enhance the experience, to how do we rework lines to make sure that our student body gets in quickly and effectively and is full at kickoff. Every bit of that matters. So we have a great team at MSU, as we know. We're working on everything from traffic flow to parking to reserved parking. We've worked with our concessions group to continue to grow that, add capability to cook better food, quicker, faster, get you through lines. You'll see all of those things at Spartan Stadium, also at Breslin. Every part of that experience matters. I think the other thing that we're working on and pretty exciting around the stadium is how do we extend that game day experience? How do we enhance your time on campus? And there are a lot of exciting initiatives the president's leading to help us around the stadium build that out. But the longer you can be on our campus, the better you're going to feel about it and what the work we're doing is. So we think it's every single part of that.
Yeah. You know what else is important to MSU is Detroit. And you mentioned earlier that MSU and Henry Ford have this deep partnership. in a really cool building coming out of the ground. I had a chance to take a hard hat tour a few weeks ago. It's amazing. We also are hosting a little event, Jay, in about 330 days.
I heard.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so really excited. We have the ability to help host the Final Four here in Detroit. I think it's 330 days, give or take. We anticipate playing in that. No, we're really excited, and whether it's our alumni here, our donors here, our fans here, but also our partnerships here. And so certainly appreciate the City of Detroit, the Sports Commission, Ford Field and the Lions for partnering with us to bring the Final Four to Detroit. It's really important. It's going to put a huge light on the city, the state, and be pretty fun to win one here.
Well, we made the final game the last time. We just need to do one more. One more.
If I could just add one thing to this. We, on the bus tour that Sandy referenced, we stopped yesterday at Saginaw Valley State University. We had the Frederick Marshall Art Museum. If you've never been there, you got to go check this out. It's one of the coolest museums I've ever been in. All of his works are there. But the Spirit of Detroit was a Frederick Marshall, and it sits down there. And what I learned in researching a bit about him is that in 2015, when we were playing for the playoff championship in football, was the first time that they put a jersey on that. I don't know how tall it is. It's tall. It was a Spartan jersey, and so we want to put that Spartan jersey back on.
Right.
I'll mention this to Coach Izzo as well.
That'd be good.
During the Final Four here in Detroit again.
He needs more encouragement. He's not enthusiastic enough.
So.
He's bored.
All right. So, guys, we never leave a call or a meeting without homework. That's my rule. So what's our homework? Tell us what we need to do to help the university and help Detroit and help Michigan drive forward. Kevin?
Well, I mentioned Henry Ford, and that's just one of many partnerships that we have here in the city, and we're really proud of that. We just completed the 5th year of a 30-year partnership with Henry Ford Health, one of the best healthcare systems. I don't know if Bob's here, but I made the mistake one time saying it's one of the top 2 or 3 healthcare systems in the country, and he said in the world. So in the world. And we're proud that we have that partnership with Henry Ford. That building is coming up out of the ground, and we're gonna have to create an environment down there on that campus, and it's going to take a lot of work from a lot of people to make it attractive to recruit 85 to 90 new principal investigators and their teams. There will be over close to 600 researchers in that facility, and we're recruiting hard right now. But the community music school, part of our extension programs, another one. We're trying to grow that out more. We're thinking, we're looking at the Fisher building, and you've been part of helping us think about that, Matt. We have, the university owns that building. We've got to build that district out and get a master plan for that. But so we need your help. We need the Detroit Economic Club and memberships to help us think about where are those opportunities. Where do you want one of the world's best public, global research universities to have an even greater impact here in Detroit. I've mentioned a few of them, but there's a lot more we can do, and we're excited.
We will do that, and we will also answer the call when the development folks call us, because we're only halfway home on the campaign.
Absolutely.
Right, thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you.
think we're ready for Q&A, Sandy?
Thank you, Matt. Okay, just a few questions from the audience. All right, let's start with, this is my question. How did you two meet, Jay and Kevin?
Oh, boy. So I was a lost 18-year-old, showed up on campus, and before you could practice, you had to get your concussion screen. And I walked into a kind of crazy lab with a floor and a ceiling thing that moved all around, and met this crazy research guy who happened to be Dr. Kevin Guskiewicz. And so ultimately, he did a lot of our concussion work as part of his research, and so met him as a freshman on campus at North Carolina, kept our relationship going for the last 25 years. And ultimately, when he called, I always answered. I did memorize his concussion test just so I could cheat it a little bit. It's elbow, apple, carpet, saddle, bubble, and you got to remember red ball for 4 days. But I did hit my head a few times.
I told him I'm a little smarter than that. I have 6 different 5-word recall lists. I would have never given him the same 5 words, especially 25 years later.
Okay, thank you. Steve Gregorian looked up the number of public universities in this country. There's over 600, and what did you say, Kevin? Where are we?
We've been top 10 2 years in a row and heading to 3 in a row.
There you go. That's pretty good. All right, this is sort of off script, but I do want to ask anybody that either went to Michigan State or has a child that has gone to Michigan State or is at Michigan State, please stand up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Sandy, can I do my homework real quick? Hey, Sandy, Matt asked for my homework. All of you stood up. We have ticket salespeople in the lobby, and you can't leave until you finish that out. So.
That's great. Okay, now the Career Readiness Academy students, stand up if you plan on applying to Michigan State. Come on.
There you go.
And if I may, I met a few who are already committed and coming next year. Would you please stand?
Who's committed?
Go green.
There we go, go green.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Okay, let me go to you, Kevin, with this one from the audience. Do you think the conference realignment carousel has halted for a few years, or could it ramp back up at any point?
Yeah, I mean, in the Big Ten, we have not, since we brought in 4 schools, was that 2 years ago? About 2 years ago, from the West Coast, we have had very few, if any, conversations as a group of 18 presidents and chancellors on that council. I think it's probably halted for a while. I think we need to see how the House settlement's going to play out. We haven't even finished the first year. That was July 1 of this past year, where we're revenue share, and I think that we're committed to seeing how that plays out. What it means to each of our individual schools in terms of their expenses at the end of every year, and then as a conference, what that looks like. It could change as in the next 2 to 3 years, probably closer to 3 or 4 as we're renegotiating the next contract, media contract. But I think it's halted for now, is where I think we are.
So why do we still call it the Big Ten?
Because we're not, I guess we sort of, I don't know, we're bad with numbers. The logo's really cool. I think that's my answer. I think that logo, it stands out. Everybody knows that Big Ten logo, so you can't change that. Although it could look like the Big 18,
I don't know, we gotta do something with that. Okay, what is, Jay, this is for you, the timeline for the massive Spartan Stadium renovations, and this is his question, will my seating capacity go down?
So what I would tell you is we're still in the design phase. So working with our architects, Populous, and our construction group, Barton Mallow. Ben's here. Thank you, Ben. And the reality is, if it all goes as planned, we'll be in a freshly renovated Spartan Stadium by the fall of 2029. So a couple of important hurdles there. We certainly have a lot of dollars to raise. So I think that project will be about $500 million to renovate most of the east side, add a tremendous amount of premium seating, a ton to the game day experience, both audio and visually. And then there's certainly, we've got to go through the trustee process to get those approved. Sandy, others, certainly use your help. But yeah, the idea too is we will not miss a season in Spartan Stadium. We will continue to play through the construction similar to what Penn State has done. Through the season, we'll have some temporary options in 28, but that would be the goal. The capacity where it finishes, still evaluating, but the answer to today's live sports, live entertainment environment is it's not more seats, it's better seats. And so creating a differentiated premium seating experiences across the stadium, and that's a huge variability of what that means, is probably the biggest part of the renovation.
Okay, this is not my question, but I am interested in the answer.
Uh-oh.
So, are you going to sell the naming rights to Spartan Stadium?
That's a good question. What I would tell you is we are open for business. And so whether it's jersey patches, field logos, floor logos in Breslin, if you have a business and you're interested, Jared Kozin is here. Jared runs our commercial operation and is president of Spartan Ventures on the commercial side. We are actively having conversations with many of the companies and businesses here in the room and throughout the region about how do we do that. It comes back to what you said about being forward-thinking and creating new opportunities for revenue. I think it's important, let me just say, and then I'll stop talking. it's really important that whatever those brands are that we affiliate with Michigan State, whether it's jersey patches for our student athletes, which will be new this year, or logos on Spartan Stadium Field or Breslin, we want it to be the right brand. We want it to be the right partner. It matters. I think it takes careful consideration, and those are partnerships that will stand the test of time. It's not simply a slap a logo down. That's hollowed ground, and we'll do it the right way.
Okay, that's good. Kevin, let's stick with real estate development on campus because you talk about the recent discussions, a potential stadium district with a hotel, housing, bars and restaurants. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, it's about how do you get people back to campus as often as possible. And it's not just about hockey, basketball, football, but it's about creating a district there that connects the athletics opportunities with the rest of campus. And so, again, thanks to our board, a year ago now, I think we started looking at an opportunity for a gateway district that was sort of on the southern part of campus with on a big piece of property, about 14, 15 acres. And they agreed to say, yeah, let's take a look to see what this would look like. As we then began to look at the hotel operators and the restaurateurs and others, decided that it would be probably better for everybody if we tried to find a way to move it further north, closer up into the stadium, where the stadiums and arenas are. So we're in the process of looking at that right now with the hopes of bringing some ideas to the board here in the next 4 or 5 months that would allow us to create something really special, a magnet, as I like to say, where people want to just come to campus, and that it's yes, the game day experience, but it goes beyond that. So 3 or 4 new restaurants, a new hotel, the Kellogg Center, which I know many of you have stayed in when you've come to visit, but it's looking tired. I've learned here in Michigan, whenever they say that it's looking tired, it means it's time to go. So when you all tell me I'm looking tired, I think I'll know, I'll take the hint. But Kellogg Center needs to be upgraded. So new hotels, restaurants, and probably some additional student housing in that space. And it would be a great connector to campus and connect all the facilities.
Thank you. One more question for you, Jay, before we go to the lightning round. Do you think MSU will have the same number, more or less, athletic programs in 10 years from now?
I would say that my goal, and I think Kevin would share this, is that we have all of our programs we have today in 10 years. If the goal of college athletics is to provide opportunities, and life-changing opportunities defined differently across all of those, then the goal would be to provide as many student-athlete opportunities as we can across as many sports as we can. Now, what I would tell you is 10 years from now is a long time. So it's important that we evolve to be able to do that. I think the change that we'll see in college athletics requires us to evolve and to innovate to be able to do that. And so yes is the answer. I always bet on myself, and I think at the end of the day, I'm betting on Michigan State that we can evolve, we can react, we can create the revenue needed to be able to provide those opportunities plus.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, let's go to lightning round. Matt, I'm going to include you in this.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with Matt. And all 3 of you. Your first car.
A 1976 Honda Civic CVCC Brown with 4 on the floor.
It's a little too much information.
A
Don't go quite that deep, okay?
that Bill
okay,
wrote in
Kevin.
once.
1986 Volkswagen Rabbit Wolfsburg edition. I always add that on the end.
1990 Jeep Cherokee Stick gingham seats, really ugly.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one. I'm not going to make you sing it. Your favorite song, Kevin?
I have become a big Chris Stapleton fan. I never thought I could because my kids said, oh, Dad, you love country. Modern country is different than your old kind of country. Broken Halo, Chris Stapleton.
Jay?
Can I answer that differently and just say that I am a glutton for silence? and get none of it, and so
Answer
I'll
the
take.
question you were asked.
Do you have any questions for my answer, Sam?
He stole that from somebody.
Henry Kissinger, I believe.
Okay, Matt.
You mean besides victory for MSU?
Yeah, there we go. Well done.
Wow,
Could've
how
been
can,
easy.
how can
Yeah.
you beat that?
Well, I was a Spartan marching band alumnus. I think I have to say that. But take it easy from the Eagles.
Okay, if you could trade positions with one person for one day, who would that be? Anybody? Go ahead.
Mike Tirico.
Oh, that's a fun job.
That's a good one.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
It would be tough because he's as good as it gets, so I don't know how in the world I could replace him.
That's a good
But
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt?
Coach Fitz. That'd be fun. It'd be fun to be a football coach, at least for a day.
Okay, wow, okay.
I'm going to go pro golfer. Any of them will work. I just want to be able to hit a golf ball 300 yards.
Okay, what was your very first paying job, Jay?
I was a lifeguard at the Key West pool in Charlottesville, Virginia. I think it was $9 an hour.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. You,
Late.
Kevin?
mowing lawns in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, at about age 12 or 13, along Madison Avenue. And Madison Avenue looks nothing like the Madison Avenue that you all been to in New York City.
Matt?
W-2 job would have been Taco Bell for $3.35 an hour.
Do you still eat Taco Bell?
Absolutely.
Okay, answer this. I wish I was better at, Jay.
Ooh, I can't sing to save my life.
Well, wait, that's why you don't listen to any songs.
I guess. It's my fault.
Kevin, I wish I was better at.
Playing golf. I love to golf. I just got it. My handicap's going the wrong direction.
Okay, Matt?
You need work.
It's tough.
You need to invite me more often to play. It's all about how often you get to play, right,
Okay,
Ben?
all right. You know, my wife would tell you this. I'm better at doing than being. I wish I could just be better.
Well,
That's way too deep.
This is lightning round, Matt. Come on.
Okay. Describe Detroit in one word, Matt.
I'm going to use Rich Homburg's acronym, which I can't remember. It's the most important city in America. He's got an acronym.
It's a lot of
So
words. That's cheating.
That's, okay, Kevin, describe Detroit in one word.
humble.
Jay?
Important.
Okay. Last question. Advice to your 25-year-old self. Advice to your 25-year-old self. Jay?
Oh, good. I would say what I gave maybe to the kids earlier, which is to ask more questions and be better prepared to receive the answer.
Kevin?
Stay curious. Be curious.
Matt?
Take more risk.
That's good.
Yep.
Okay. I would like all of you to join me in thanking these three leaders for joining us today.
Thank you. Great job.
Great job.
Great job. Appreciate you.
I also want to give a shout out to, I hope Claude Molinari, are you here still? Where are you at? Did he leave? He left. He is in charge of Visit Detroit, and Terry Radigan is the chair of the board of the bringing the Final Four to Detroit, right? So Detroit Sports Commission. So thank you for that. We really are looking forward to it. So if you want good seats for the Final Four, Terry Radigan. All right, everybody, thank you. Let's bring up Steve Gregorian. Thanks so much.
All right, guys, thanks for being with us in a terrific, terrific conversation. Thanks for your support. You're welcome back here anytime. Matt, you're almost at the level of Mike Tirico, so keep going, buddy. You're doing a good job. Yeah, Sandy, thanks for your important role and for supporting the DEC and me personally, and for all you do for Michigan State as well. All right, folks, it's time to help our CRA students graduate, if your schedule permits. Even for 5 minutes, please network with these graduates. Let them show off their networking skills and elevator pitches. You will have a blast. And to the graduates, we're here to help you. Remember what I told you, if you just work hard, everything's going to be okay. So be confident, talk to the folks here, show us what you learned. They're willing to help you. So, all right, on time, every time. I love saying it. This meeting of the Detroit Economic Club is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.